Welcome to the latest episode of the SCU show. I'm your host, SCU. We have another great show for you this week. Last week, our longest show ever. And this week, I think we might get just about up to where we were last week. But anyway, good stuff this week, and let's get right to it. Let's start with this crazy nonsense going on with the Dallas Cowboys. So the Cowboys signed Andy Dalton to a one-year deal, and everybody's freaking out. Oh my God, it's so disrespectful to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's going to have his job taken away from him. No, he's not. I just said it was a one-year deal. It's a one-year deal. Why are we overreacting to this so much? Not to mention, Andy Dalton has not taken a team to the playoffs in 5 years. Do you really think that the Cowboys would sign him for him to take over Dak Prescott, who's won the last two of the last three NFC East division titles, won a playoff game? Dak Prescott has had so much success in Dallas as the starting quarterback. And then you think Andy Dalton's just coming in to take his job? It's a one-year deal. Again, it means absolutely nothing. Andy Dalton, yes, I do believe with the team around him that he has in Dallas, Andy Dalton will be able to take the Cowboys to the playoffs. Mainly because, like I said, I always say this, I don't like what the Eagles have. They just sign a lot of receivers, but who knows what's going to happen. Carson Wentz is always hurt. The Giants, who knows? I do think that they do well, but I don't know. And then the Redskins, everyone's picking them to be very bad because they don't have much of an offense. So really, when it comes to the NFC East, it's the Cowboys' division to lose. And I do think Andy Dalton, if he gets the chance to start in Dallas at any point this year, he could lead them. So he could have a successful run, whatever. But this is still Dak Prescott's team. Let's not front. Everybody's going crazy, thinking of, this is disrespectful. No, I get it. I'm with you guys. I don't understand why the Cowboys have not signed Dak Prescott. It's been going on for almost half a year now, maybe longer. Why haven't they signed Dak Prescott? I wish I had the answer to that. I don't know. I don't know why they haven't signed Dak. They have to sign Dak because obviously this is their future. No, it's not like Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. It's not like that. It's just Dak's the guy for the next several years, and they're going to sign him to a longer deal. So let's cut the crap with the whole Andy Dalton nonsense. It means absolutely nothing. It was a one-year deal. He's going to back up Dak Prescott. If Prescott gets hurt, or if the Cowboys are losing by 30 in a game, Andy Dalton's going to come in the fourth quarter and make it a lesser deficit. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's insurance. That's what I've been hearing. A word I've been hearing a lot. It's insurance. It means nothing but that. So let's calm down there. All right, now I got to troll one of my best friends. His birthday is 6 months from today, on November 8th. So I thought, let's poke some fun at him because he always thinks that I get a lot of things wrong. The schedule release stuff. Steven was wrong on the SCU was wrong on this. So what? Who cares? I mean, it's the schedule. The draft thing. Everybody's wrong on the draft. But he likes to pick fun at me because we've been best friends for 15 years. So whatever, man. But let's get to it anyway. So he's a Ravens fan. And I think it's pretty inevitable that the Ravens are going to win the AFC North. Come on. This is like the easiest bet in all of the NFL right now, that the Ravens will win the North. It's the easiest bet. Lamar Jackson had 36 touchdown passes. And I didn't like that. He won MVP with 36 touchdown passes. That didn't make sense to me. But, that's fine. Hollywood Brown was out a few games. He didn't play his whole season. And, obviously Lamar's a very talented running quarterback, so there's that as well. So, you give him some credit. 36 touchdowns, whatever, fine. I think this year he's going to eclipse 40 touchdowns because now he has Lamar Jackson. He has Hollywood Brown's coming back whole season, knock on wood. Hopefully he'll be back all season. He'll be healthy. And I'm still really high. This is the steal of the draft. I said this last week. James Proche from SMU in the 6th round, the wide receiver. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Now he goes to Lamar Jackson, who can get in the ball. So I really think Lamar Jackson's going to have he's going to have a better season than his MVP year. It's not like Patrick Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns, and I said he would throw about 33, threw 26 to 28 touchdowns last year. So it was a little off, but 36 touchdowns, Lamar can do better than that, and I do believe he is going to do better than that. Because again, James Proche, the receiver from SMU, if he gets to start, Hollywood Brown. So it's a really nice deal there in Baltimore. Not to mention they also got J.K. Dobbins, which is going to be a very nice 1-2 punch, him and Mark Ingram down there in Baltimore. Going to be a great run game. And not to mention, like I said, Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback as well. So you got a lot going. You got a lot going for you there down in Baltimore. As for the other teams in the AFC North, which also proves the point that the Ravens are going to win the North, the Browns, and we'll get to this in a moment, the Browns are going to be a disappointment. Everyone's talking about how they have such a great team. I said the same thing in 2017. Several people said the same thing in 2017. Now, the Browns had gotten David Njoku, they had Duke Johnson, all these talented people. Jabril Peppers was going to be their guy. I said that they were going to finish second in the North that year. They went 0-16. So I'm not believing anything in the Browns. The Steelers, I feel like it's going to be a very down year for them. Juju's not the one. They don't know who the one is right now. And Big Ben's coming off an elbow injury. Is he going to be 100%? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And the Bengals are the Bengals. I think their better pick was not Joe Burrow. I think their better pick was actually T. Higgins from Clemson with the 34th pick, first pick of the second round. I think that was a better pick than Joe Burrow. And that's not saying much when it comes to the Bengals. Because if you can't get the quarterback right, you're not going to get anything right. So there you have it. The Steelers are going to have a down year, I believe. I think they'll probably finish second or third, depending on what Cleveland does. I don't believe in Cleveland, though. I don't believe Cleveland. Hardly hard. And the Bengals are the Bengals. And therefore, I think the Ravens win the division by 3-4 games. And it's going to be a runaway. So happy half birthday to my best friend. He knows who he is. Sticking with the sticking with division winners, I do have another one, and there's going to be a lot of twos in this episode, like a Noah's Ark in this episode. A lot of twos. Go by twos, two division winners, and then I have other things to go in twos. So the other division winner I have is in the other North, the NFC North. I believe the Minnesota Vikings are going to run away with the division. Not run away with the division. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to win the division, though. They had the best roster in the NFC North. There's no question. I mean, you can credit the Lions. They do have very talented receivers, and they just got Jeff Okudah to go up with Desmond Trufant in the secondary, but it's still the Lions. The Lions have not been to, I don't even know if the Lions have ever been to a championship game. They've been around since 1933. Have they been to a championship game? I really don't know. The point being, the Vikings have the best team in the North. I mean, they got rid of a lot of guys. They got Xavier Rhodes in Indianapolis. Everson Griffin's not coming back. So there's a lot of Stephon Diggs went to the Bills. A lot of pieces are just absolutely missing in Minnesota. And what did the Vikings do? They were like, no, we're not going to tank for Trevor. We're not going to do anything dumb. We're going for it. We're going right for it. And they really did that. They got Justin Jefferson in the first round, who's going to be a real nice receiver, along with Adam Thielen. Also, they still have Dalvin Cook. They got safety. I'm trying to look for the name here. The name Jeff Gladney from TCU, the cornerback to replace Xavier Rhodes. They just got to figure out that pass rush, and they're going to be good to go there. So I think that the Vikings, they're in a really good spot right now. And I said this last week. Everybody talk about how Green Bay is still a great talented team. No, they're not. I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers is talented, but do you see what he has to face this year? I went over this last week. Check out the last SCU show. All the corners he has to face: Eddie Jackson, you got Desmond Trufant, Jeff Okudah, Jeff Gladney now in Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers has one receiver to throw to. He doesn't have a tight end to throw to anymore. It's going to be a tough year for Green Bay. I do like the pick of J.J. Dillon, but you need your quarterback to be top notch, and I don't feel like he's going to be top notch. And then the Bears, they're in their own way. The Bears are in their own way. They don't have Nick Foles. They have Nick Foles. I think Nick Foles is going to win the starting job, but I don't think the Bears are talented enough to make the playoffs. I don't think they're talented enough to make the playoffs. So that's it. The Vikings win the AFC North. I think they can make a nice playoff run, depending on what happens with Kirk Cousins and if Adam Thielen could be a 1 or Justin Jefferson steps up as a rookie. But either way, I do think that the Minnesota Vikings win the NFC North in 2020. There you go. It's going to be a lot of struggling for the other teams. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers, those defenses he has to face. The Lions are the Lions, and the Bears, they're in their own way right now. They drafted Mitch Trubisky. Remember that second? They traded up to draft Mitch Trubisky second overall. I still scratch my head. I still don't understand why they did that. That made no sense to me. That was absolutely crazy. Crazy. Made no sense. Okay. Moving on. Alright, so again, here's another 2. Very interesting stuff, by the way. Two teams that are going to disappoint you all. They disappointed me in the past, and I'm no longer buying into them. The first team that disappointed me and will disappoint you is Cleveland. Yeah, they have a very nice team around them. Two receivers, Jarvis Landry and OBJ. But by the way, OBJ is not going anywhere. Yes, they have two talented tight ends, David Njoku and now Austin Hooper. Yes, they have two more talented offensive linemen in Jack Conklin from Tennessee, and they drafted Jedrick Willis with the 10th pick. I think that was a little too high, but he was a first rounder anyway, so good for Cleveland, right? Good for them. Very good. They do have a new head coach. Kevin Stefanski is the new head coach, an offensive-minded coach. That's all fine and dandy. They have Myles Garrett just signed his 5th-year option, or whatever the case is. No, but we fall for this every year. A lot of fans fall for this every year. I always expect Cleveland to do something well, and then Cleveland craps the bed. Every year. Happened to me in 2017, and then I was like, oh, never mind. And, the 2018 Baker Mayfield gets drafted, takes over week 3 to beat the Jets. Oh, here come the Browns. They're going to be great. They, obviously they finished 7-8-1, missed the playoffs. The next year, oh, good. Here come the Browns. They're going to be so good. They just got OBJ in a trade. 6-10. Yeah. So again, you people believe that the Browns were going to do well, and they crapped the bed. It's going to be the same thing, kind of the same thing this year. Maybe they'll finish 7-9. Maybe they'll get that extra, maybe 8-8. But I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't. The AFC is way too talented, especially the AL. I mean, come on. Every team in the AFC West can make the playoffs. The Broncos is looking very good right now. The Raiders have spiced up their defense. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, and the Chargers just need to start Justin Herbert, and they could be on the way to the Super Bowl. And then you have the Browns. I mean, the Browns, they're the laughingstock of the NFL outside the Jaguars. So I'm not buying the Browns, and I really hope none of you buy the Browns either, because you'd be making a really big mistake in doing so. The second team that I think will disappoint everybody, and of course have disappointed me several times, Atlanta Falcons. Then they went to the Super Bowl in 2017. 23, everybody can make their jokes. But then I thought, okay, maybe, they'll be back, they'll be good, they'll do this, miss the playoffs. And this has been Matt Ryan's career. Every other year, he's missing the postseason. And therefore, I'm done. I'm done buying into the Falcons. And I understand, I know they have 10 former first-round picks on the roster right now. They don't mean anything. It's not going to mean nothing. I think that Dan Quinn's going to screw this up somehow, because when your team does not do well, it normally falls on your head coach. And kind of the same deal here. It's going to fall on the head coach, Dan Quinn. And I think he'll be out the door. I don't care that the Falcons have 10 former first-round picks on their roster. It's how you use it. It's quality or quantity. And I don't think that the Falcons are going to use them too well. Now, probably 7-9 season could be very disappointing. And you guys, and I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to be fooled again. I'm not picking the Falcons to go to the playoffs. I'm picking them to have a down year because I'm tired of buying into them. I always buy into them, and I get screwed. So there you have it. The two teams that are going to disappoint you all are the Browns and the Falcons. All right, sticking with the whole thing of 2 by 2 by 2, I already know who the first 2 picks are going to be in the 2021 NFL Draft. I already know. The first one, it's obvious at this point, is Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback from Clemson. We'll talk more about him next week. Very fire take on that. But I think that Trevor Lawrence goes number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Jaguars they're a dumpster fire. They got rid of A.J. Boye, their top cornerback. They got rid of Calais Campbell, who, by the way, went to Baltimore. A.J. Boye is in Denver. They're going to be good. The Jaguars are just, there's so many players that are complaining about how the Jaguars are running things, and they don't like it. And then you have Gardner Minshew, who they give the starting job to after he won 5 games. I'm not saying Gardner Minshew is a bad quarterback. I'm just saying I don't necessarily believe in him as of right now. I don't know how to believe in him, if I want to believe in him. So I think he's talented. He can run the ball if he needs to, and I like that in quarterbacks. I say this all the time. That's the future of the league, is running quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, all these running quarterbacks coming into the league. Jalen Hurts takes over the Eagles, running quarterback. Kyler Murray, running quarterback. Why do you think Matt Stafford didn't do well? He doesn't run the ball. He needs to run the ball more. But anyway, that's what I was saying. Getting back to that. Trevor Lawrence, running quarterback. So again, another one, way of the future. I don't know if Gardner Minshew is going to win any games, and if not, well, then you Hashtag, Quentin, you know about my colleague Quentin Smalls knows about this. Derek Dean knows about this. Eric Watkins knows about this. Hashtag tank for Trevor. I think that's what the Jaguars are going to do. They're not going to say it. It's kind of like the Dolphins were supposed to tank for Tua, and then they beat the Patriots week 17 and made them a wild card team, whatever the crap that was. But anyway, I think the Jaguars get the first overall pick next year. I think they win 3 games. I looked at their schedule yesterday. They win 3 games, and they'll have the first pick. And I think they would be foolish not to go with Trevor Lawrence. And the second pick overall will go to, well, I don't know who it's going to go to. I do have a feeling it's going to go to the Washington Redskins. Either they have a really nice defense. They really have a nice defense. They got Kendall Fuller from the Chiefs, Thomas Davis, Ronald Darby. They have a lot of talent on that defense, but that offense is so lackluster. Like I said earlier in the show, it's such a lackluster offense. We don't know anything about Dwayne Haskins. I don't think Dwayne Haskins is an NFL quarterback. I think this is it for him. I think the Redskins will win about 5 games. They'll be in the top 5. Maybe they'll trade up to number 2, and they'll take Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be an NFL quarterback. He is very talented. He can run the ball. I know Dwayne Haskins can run the ball. He's too tall, though. I feel like from what I've seen, he's a very tall quarterback, and if it doesn't really work out too well for taller quarterbacks as opposed to shorter quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, very short quarterbacks. It works out for them. I think the Redskins will trade up or be in the top 5 and hope that they can get Justin Fields. And honestly, you kind of need to go get Justin Fields. You also need to get him some help, of course, but then you can deal with that free agency. You got to go get Justin Fields if you're the Redskins at number 2. Either you got to trade up, do what the Saints did in 1999, trade your whole draft to get Ricky Williams. Trade your whole draft to get Justin Fields. It'll be worth it. Because obviously Dwayne Haskins, as of right now, not working out. So I do think that's that. I think the first overall pick will be the Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence, and then number 2 will be Justin Fields going to the Washington Redskins. The rest of the draft, we'll see what happens. So there you have it. Those are the 2x2. The 2 picks for the 2021 draft: Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields to Jacksonville, and Washington, respectively. You got the 2 division winners, the Ravens and the Vikings. I think the Ravens win the North, the AFC North, and the Vikings win the NFC North. And then, obviously, the 2 disappointing teams are the Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons. I tell you, I always buy into the Falcons. I'm such a fool for doing that. I've done that 2 of the last 3 years. I'm like, the Falcons will be so special. And they just let me down every year. I'm always 7-9, some crap. Dan Quinn is on the hot seat. He's going to be out the door come the end of this season. All right, now we're done with the 2s now. We're going to get to the 5s now. I wanted to do a top 10 games, but there's not many interesting games this year. When I looked at the schedule release came out yesterday, and it was just not interesting. It just wasn't interesting. But I did pick the top 5 games. I know a lot of people are going to give me crap because 3 are the Saints and 3 are the Chiefs. But here we go anyway. Number 5, it's the Ravens and the Chiefs, Monday Night Football Week 3. Lamar against Patrick Mahomes, the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. In the new generation, of course, because you saw Brady and Breeze. Those are the 2 best quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. But when it comes to the new generation of quarterbacks, it's Lamar and Patrick Mahomes. They're the future of the league. So having them go, and not to mention, they've met twice already. And they have played very close games. Obviously they played very close games. They're like 1-score games each time. Both games were in Kansas City. This time, it's under the Monday Night Lights, and it's in Baltimore. It's going to be very interesting. Ravens, Chiefs, number 5. Number 4, the Saints and the Vikings in a rematch of the wild card game from last year where Kyle Rudolph scored the game winner in overtime. And what a treat. The game was on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, everybody. You get a rematch of what was a very interesting wild card game between the Saints and the Vikings. Vikings, again, he snapped and they rebooted their whole team pretty much after losing Xavier Rhodes, Everson Griffin, and Stephon Diggs. They pretty much have rebuilt just so fast. They just snapped and it was bam, rebuilt. And then the Saints are the Saints. They're going to do very well. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. They got Emmanuel Sanders. They got Drew Brees. Taysom Hill. It's going to be a very interesting game. Number 4, Saints Vikings, Christmas Day. Number 3, the Saints Chargers, Week 5, Monday Night Football. I'm going out of order here, but you get the point. Saints are a very talented team, and then the thing I was very interested in with this matchup was the fact that the Saints, Alvin Kamara is going to have to go up against Kenneth Murray. Just imagine that. Just imagine Alvin Kamara. It kind of reminds me of Steve Atwater when he knocked the Nigerian Nightmare out. That's what it kind of reminds me of. That's what I'm looking forward to see when those two teams meet on Monday Night Week 5, the Saints and the Chargers. Plus, the Chargers have a very talented team. If they start Justin Herbert by that point, good Lord, I'm getting my popcorn watching that game right in front of the TV. Week 5, Monday Night Football, Saints Chargers, number 3. Number 2, the Bucks and the Chiefs, Week 12. Yes, Brady and Mahomes. You would think that would be the number 1 game, but there's something much more interesting than that. But I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think Brady's going to struggle first year with the Bucks, especially with this whole coronavirus thing going around. There might not be any in-person training camps. Maybe virtual. You got to build chemistry with their players, their teammates, and Brady's not going to be able to do that. So I think it's going to be a down year for them. They still need a running back. I don't think Ronald Jones is their running back. They didn't take a running back in the draft, so kind of iffy. But it is Brady and Mahomes, and everybody loves Brady and Mahomes. Their 4th time they'll meet in Week 12 down in Tampa. I might be gone. We'll see what happens. That game's number 2 on my list of top 5 games of the 2020 season. And then the top game I'm most excited about this year is the Saints and the Chiefs in I think it's Week 15. Yes, Week 15. The Saints host the Chiefs. That is going to be a doozy. They're pretty much equal teams. Both have very talented quarterbacks, talented receivers, depending on how Sammy Watkins comes back or not. They both have talented defense, the same defenses. The defenses, it's pretty good defenses. Not the best defenses, but they're pretty good defenses. They got talented receivers, talented quarterbacks, talented running backs. It's picture perfect. It's money. And it's going to be on Mercury Game of the Week. 4:25 kickoff, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Aaron Andrews. That's going to be fun. I can't wait for that game. And with that, we are done. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for watching, listening, whatever you might be doing the last 35 episodes. This is episode 36. Our numbers have been fantastic. I really appreciate the support. Got a lot of support from my guys. Bobby, love you, man. My friends Ruben, Christian, Marone, you guys watch all the time. I love you guys. Thank you. Ruben, it's your birthday in 6 months from today. Marone, your birthday's 10 days after him. We'll get to the Giants in a few weeks. But again, for everybody else who watches, who listens, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot to me. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. This has been another episode of the